All right, let's stay in the Middle East. And as humanitarian concerns for the civilians trapped in Gaza grow, I'm joined now by Saleem Oweis, Communications Officer for the United Nations Children's Fund, Unicef, in the Middle East and North Africa. Saleem, thank you so much for joining us. I was just speaking to the Egyptian ambassador to South Africa, and he says they believe there's possibly 4 or 5 days of food left in Gaza. I was wondering what you can tell us in terms of humanitarian need. Are you actually able to get the full picture of the need in Gaza currently?
Well, it's definitely a very dire picture that we're getting. It's horrific. The images, the stories that we get from the field. The situation is heading, if not already, a humanitarian catastrophe. We're talking about in children. We're talking about over 720 children killed. That's a very reserved number, as we are trying to get a confirmation on other casualties. Over 2,500 children injured. Apart from this physical direct impact on children, we're talking about an area, the Gaza Strip, that has been cut of food, of water, of electricity for the past days, over a week. And without any fuel, the health system is collapsing due to the lack of electricity and lack of fuel. Hospitals can't run their generators, hence can't provide assistance to thousands and thousands of injured and sick people. Children are struggling to find clean water to drink. Families are struggling to provide it to their children. We've heard stories about families getting water from the sea to use in their households to clean the toilets and so on. So in general, the picture is very, very grim, and it's only going to get more grim as this continues. And that's why the call now is for a ceasefire, a humanitarian pause at least, to be able to deal with the situation, to be able to cater to the needs of the children and families in Gaza. And of course, the humanitarian corridor that the ambassador was talking about, for that to open safely, guaranteed safety for the supplies and also the humanitarian workers on the ground.
Yeah, because we hear that there's a lot of humanitarian aid arriving in Egypt, just across the border in Sinai, but it's not getting through. This must be immensely frustrating for people like yourself when you can see that there is some assistance available, but it's not getting through. What's it going to take, do you think, for that border to properly open, though it's inoperable at the moment, and for that humanitarian aid to be safely brought in?
What is needed is the will, the political will from all sides. And we're talking about, well, UNICEF alone has 2 shipments landed in Egypt, carrying supplies as water, purification tablets for water, mobile toilets, shelters, health supplies, hygiene supplies, feminine hygiene supplies. So a lot of stuff is being mobilized. A lot of stuff has already arrived in Egypt and on the way to Gaza. The only obstacle now is for this passage to be open and to be secured, because now Gaza is not safe. There's no place in Gaza that is safe, and families and children who are being asked to move, they have no place to go. So the only way to somehow help these people is to get this aid inside and to be able to safely distribute and safely serve those children and families.
So the Egyptian ambassador was saying we need to focus on getting that humanitarian aid in, and absolutely, I can see why that's so critical. But he didn't want to speak so much about people being allowed across the border, and he gave me some context. Concerns, I think, that you could allow everyone across the border, but they might never ever get back into Gaza again. Israel might simply not allow it. Would you, though, make a case for allowing particularly vulnerable people, I'm thinking of children, I'm thinking of pregnant mothers, perhaps the elderly, to actually go across the border and be at peace completely in Egypt?
Well, the issue now is just the humanitarian situation. The issue now is children are dying, and I think that's the most important part of the whole story is for the violence at large to stop, and that's the only solution for this really catastrophic situation, is for this violence to stop and to find a political solution. So far, there has not been, for over 10 days, there has not been any halt in violence, any halt in attacks. And attacks has reached civilians, has reached civilian infrastructure that children and families depend on. These attacks have reached hospitals, schools, shelters,
Yeah.
humanitarian aid. So yeah, the whole issue now is just to stop the violence and allow aid to come in. People have the right to move as they want, but the main concern now is to get the aid inside.
All right, thank you so much for speaking to us. Very dire. That is Saleem Oweis, Communications Officer for Unicef in the Middle East and North Africa. An absolutely tragic picture, telling us 720 children have died in the last 10 days in Gaza. 2,500 more are injured. Absolutely horrific story coming from Gaza.